Hey guys, Scott Dispel here, dispelmusic.com. Today we're going to dive deeper into the upcoming Inferno album and talk about song number 6, Jerian's Wrath. Stick around. Hey guys, Scott Dispel here, dispelmusic.com. Welcome to our humble little studio here on the shores of the Cuyahoga River, which flows in the Lake Erie, where the will-o-wisps and the whites moan at night along the mist. So anyways, if you like anything medieval, like Game of Thrones, or Lord of the Rings, or Conan the Barbarian, Dungeons and Dragons, or Magic the Gathering, or maybe the game Diablo, or Skyrim, or anything fantasy, you're in the right spot. That's what we love. That's what inspires our music. And that's what we write about. So today, I wanted to talk about our upcoming album, Inferno, which will be released to the public October 12th. Very excited about that. And it's about Dante's Inferno. And Dante Alighieri wrote this incredible literary masterpiece about heaven and hell. And the title's called The Divine Comedy. And part of it, he goes into hell, the Inferno. So that section is known as Dante's Inferno. So we decided, let's do a conceptual album about Dante's Inferno. So what we did is we did a song for each level, which is a mortal sin. So we're talking about greed and gluttony and wrath is what we're going to be talking about today. So, also, I want to update you guys on some things that are going on with us in the Dispel Music Camp. We have a upcoming music video, Flames of Greed, and I did an in-depth review of that and a lot of behind-the-scene footage in our last video. So I'll put a link to that at the end of this video if you'd like to check that out. Very cool behind-the-scene footage of filming of a music video and the crew and just really cool behind the scenes footage. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I will show some of the edited material that will potentially be in the video. So stick around for that. I think you'll really enjoy it. The mortal sin of wrath, which is known as extreme anger, also the sullen go. So those who are wrathful and the sullen. So wrath is extreme anger, and sullen is kind of like bad-tempered, gloomy, basically a failure to appreciate the beauty of God's creation. So that's sullen. So yeah, just a terrible, pissy attitude. So that's sullen. But first, let's talk about our upcoming album, Inferno. So we've had some issues with the CD. So I ordered from a company that is not going to be named, and I got a batch of test presses. Sounded great in my vehicle, sounded great in a couple CD players, and then just by chance I was going to do some work in the garage, and I had a little CD player in there, and I popped it in the CD player. It wouldn't play. So I tried it in a couple other CD players. It would not play in all CD players. I contacted them. They sent me another batch. And I talked to the engineer. And they felt maybe it was a bad laser burn or something to that extent. Second batch did not play in all CD players. I communicated with them again. And, well, let's give it another shot. So I figured, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. I thought maybe they'd make adjustments or do something, and I downloaded everything again, and I got the third batch of test pressings, same problem. So I reached out to them, and they basically said, don't order from us anymore. So instead of trying to fix the problem and me sharing knowledge, like, hey, it played in these 3 brands, it did not play in this CD player, brand, and model, or this CD player, brand, and model. They just said, don't order from us again. So, I mean, what kind of customer service is that? So there's all these other bands out there ordering these CDs from this company, and their fans are going to get CDs that might or might not play in their CD players. And so I was just trying to share that knowledge, because as like a business owner, that's knowledge I would want and something I would want to fix. But basically the bottom line is, having deciphered it and read over the emails many times, basically they're very affordable, and the reason they're very affordable is they're using inadequate CDs for their products. So it is what it is. So with that being said, we had to search for a new CD provider. We think we found one. They're a bit more expensive, but if that's what it takes to get a CD out that I can send to you guys and have the peace of mind knowing you paid for a CD, it's going to play in any CD player. How crazy is that? I know it's a lot to ask, especially in today's world. But so that's what we're going to do. And since there is a delay on the CDs, we were hoping to get those out sooner, but the universe decided that was not going to be the case. I have decided to throw the special insert art that was only going to be in the vinyl and the record. We're going to put that in the CD, and we're going to order a nice CD insert. I think it's going to be like 12 pages, a 12-page insert, all the lyrics, all the credits. We're even going to include the Hall of Heroes. And what the Hall of Heroes is on our Kickstarter for this album. It was funded through Kickstarter. So if you helped fund us through Kickstarter, you rock. You made this possible. There was the upper tier pledges. We said we'd include you in the credits, what we called the Hall of Heroes. Now this was just going to be on the vinyl, because that insert's a lot bigger. We have a lot more real estate to put names on. However, we're going to spend the extra on our end and do a 12-page insert, so we can throw the Hall of Heroes in there and the extra artwork. So it's really going to be a cool package. So whether you get CD or album, you're going to get all the same information on the insert, plus the awesome art, so you can kick back when the album's playing and immerse yourself in the art. And I know when I was growing up, that was an awesome musical experience that I always looked forward to. So that's the gist on the CDs. So it's been super tough getting this album out. It's been so difficult. It's been hurdle after hurdle, and we're still waiting on the artwork. So that's a whole nother ballgame. So let's talk about, we talked about the CDs. I said stick around for the video. I'll play you a snippet of the edited video. So let's get into level 5 of the Inferno. Now this will be song number 6 on the album, because I did a little intro piece, because I was super inspired by Rush 2112 and Temples of Syrinx. If you're familiar with the band, they do like this cool little instrumental intro, and I felt like I wanted to give a homage to them, because I love their conceptual album so much, and I thought it would really fit Dante's Inferno, because in Dante's Inferno, before he descends and goes to the gates of hell, he's kind of confused, he's in a dark forest, and I wanted to make music set that mood and that tone with an intro song. So that's the idea. That's why I did an intro. So we are talking about wrath. Wrath is extreme anger, and also sullenness. And being sullen, like I said, is gloomy, bad-tempered, and really a lack of the appreciation of God's beauty and God's creation. So you tormented, wrathful, and sullen souls, you are going to the Inferno. Now, what we did is we took a lot of Dante's source material and incorporated into the lyrics, because his poetry is so beautiful, which is what's very interesting about Dante's Inferno, or the whole piece, the Divine Comedy, is he wrote it in poetry form, in prose. It's not just written like a book you would read today. He did it in poetry, so it's full of metaphors. It's just an absolute masterpiece of world literature. So we took a bunch of that poetry and prose and put it into the lyrics and incorporated it. And then what we did is, because we're such gaming nerds, and I love Dungeons and Dragons ever since I was in the elementary towards middle school, and I was always fascinated by like the demons and devils of hell and adventuring to a different plane, and what is that all about? And so through that lore that Dante had created and all the medieval literature about hell and different personalities and mythology that has been developed through the years, especially from Dante's work, and especially in gaming, fantasy gaming like Dungeons and Dragons. So in the old school Dungeons and Dragons, on this level, the 5th level of the Inferno or Hell, it is ruled by Geryon. And Geryon is a very interesting beast. So he's a very handsome face. He's got strong, hairy arms that end in paws, but he can grasp things with, like this big horn. He'll grasp and blow the horn of doom. He has a scaly, snake-like body, huge bat-like wings, and then a tail that is like a scorpion's tail. It's a barbed scorpion's tail that's dripping deadly poison. So a very interesting creature. Now in Dante's Inferno, Dante and his guide, the poet Virgil, actually have Geryon. They fly on Geryon's back through the Inferno, and they go from level 7 to level 8 on Geryon's back. So when I wrote this song, the chorus of it, we really tried to give you the feel of kind of soaring on Geryon's back and like this surreal atmosphere of flying on the back of this beast. And like, he's, like I said, this handsome face, fearsome beast, but very very accommodating. You know, he lets Dante and Virgil fly on his back. Sure, jump on my back. You know, like they're like international hitchhikers. Jump on my back, I got you. So Geryon's a very interesting personality. So I think you'll love the song, and at the end of this video I'll play a little snippet through the credits so you can hear a little bit of the song. So that's what it's about. So let's talk about the punishments for the wrathful and the sullen. So on this level, it's basically like a big, cold cesspool, swamp. This is where the river Styx runs through it, but here the river Styx is in big, swampy, putrid pools. So the sullen are stuck in the bottom muck of these putrid pools, and on the surface you can see bubbles, and that's their air bubbles from being stuck. So they're stuck in this filth. So that's the punishment for the sullen. Now for the wrathful, they are in the pools, but they are endlessly fighting and biting and attacking one another in the swamp, in the more shallow parts of this pool. So they're tearing into each other, biting each other's flesh, just an endless battle of fighting, anger, wrathfulness, and you're fighting somebody that's as angry and wrathful as you, unending. And everybody around you is just one big battle, and you're all pissed off and biting and tearing into each other's flesh while you're fighting in these putrid pools. So yeah, that's the punishment for the wrathful and the sullen. So hopefully that maybe helps your mind-eye visualize what's going on. And again, the songs on this Inferno album, we really tried to make atmospheric. We really tried to incorporate the lyrics to kind of tell the story. We have the beautiful voice of our singer Ravensea as your tour guide, and hauntingly beautiful voice. And yeah, I think it's a really special album. We can't wait to share it with you. It's coming up. We're going to be doing a press campaign, getting it on radio and in underground magazines. And we're going to be releasing the music video for the song before it, which is called Flames of Greed. So we're going to release the video as kind of like the prequel to the album coming out. Now, other great news. If this sounds interesting to you, you are able to pre-order our album. I'll put the link below in the description of the video. Now, all pre-orders will not only get the album or CD, you can choose CD or album. Regardless, it comes with a digital download as well. If you order the CD, you'll get a digital download. You order the vinyl, you'll get a digital download. And for a limited time, all pre-orders will also get our Past the Gates EP. It's a 4-song EP, and it's versions of songs that are not on the Inferno album. And when you place your order, you will get the EP emailed to you immediately. So you'll be able to listen to 4 songs, 4 different versions from the Inferno album when we were writing it, some versions that didn't make it on the album. One of the songs on this EP that is not on the Inferno album is called Rings of Violence, and it's an acoustic version. And I think it's super awesome. It's also on Spotify. So if you look up Dispel on Spotify and you look up Rings of Violence, there's an acoustic version of it that's not on the album. And it's super cool because it's got like this flamenco guitar played by this fantastic guitarist named Joe Salento. And he's in New Jersey, New York. So we brought him on as a guest musician. It's super cool. So yeah, definitely check that out. But that EP, that song's on EP, you get it free. If you want to preview it, then you can check it out on Spotify. Just search Dispel, and you'll see a picture of the 3 of us all gothed out. It'll say Dispel. And also the first song on the album, which is Journey into Limbo, is also on Spotify. So you can check out a couple songs, get a taste for what the album's all about. Now, in the link below for the pre-orders, you can preview the whole album. I've got a snippet of every song, like, 10, 13, 15-second snippet of every song. You can preview the whole album. So we wanted to share it with you. So, yeah, I think I covered all the bases I wanted to. But basically, don't be wrathful and don't be sullen. Appreciate the beauty in God's creation. I know it's tough right now because corruption is off the charts. Off the charts, it is. So yeah, it's tough to be positive, but hang in there. And truth always prevails. So get yourself right. Be truthful. Be an honest person. And trust your intuition. And get ready to rock, because we're going to be dropping a music video, and then we're going to be dropping an album that we've worked on for 2.5 years, and we can't wait to share it with you. So until next time, I'll talk about the next song, which would be song 7, and that song is Rings of Violence, the non-acoustic version, and it features guitar from Leo Kanami, all the way from Germany, the band Maldoran, and he shreds, and there's a badass guitar solo in that song. So definitely leans more towards our metal edge of things. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to show you some footage from the upcoming music video, and then we'll outro this video with a little taste of the song and the song Jerian's Wrath. I hope you like it. Thanks, guys.
The 5th infernal ring, accursed spirits lost.